Okay, so this is my FileZilla FTP server tutorial. First, you're going to want to go to Google and Google FileZilla server download. It's important to get the server and not the client. The server is for hosting and the client is for connecting. Once you have that downloaded, you're going to want to run it and install. Keep in mind that I wouldn't keep a desktop icon, it's pretty useless. Just leave this administrator port the same and leave that to start like that. It's the best idea because that's the actual file hosting server, so if it isn't on manual, or if it is on manual, then you'll have to start your server manually. And this I would set to manual because this is like the server GUI interface thing that you can edit settings, and you don't really need to edit it every time you start up. Okay, now once you're to this screen, just press OK. We'll get more into that later. Now go to Edit, Settings, and Administrator Settings. You're going to want to set a password, anything you want, and this will be used on that first box to log in. Here is a welcome message. You can edit that however you like. It displays when somebody logs into your FTP. Auto ban, we'll get back to more of that stuff later. Okay, so now go to Groups, and this is just for the tutorial, but I'm going to make a group for just me and my friends, and under shared folders you can add whatever folders you want to share. In this case, I want to share my movies with all of my friends. And just leave those the same, so like list and subdirs, that's so they can see what is inside of that FTP. Read is so they can read it, write, you get the idea. Also, I forgot to mention how I have these FTP folders. You're going to want to create an empty one, and if you're playing for anonymous access later, I'll show you that. You're going to want public, and I have Dropboxes where my friends can upload the files to my FTP. So I'm going to add the empty folder and set that as the home directory. This is important. As the tutorial goes on, I think you'll be able to see how this works more clearly. Okay, so now go to Users, and first I'm just going to add myself as an administrator as a part of the FTP server, or FTP group, private FTP group. I'm going to set a password. That's very important. Don't want anybody hijacking it. You can change any of those other settings. So now I'm going to add my friend. Gonna make him a part of that group and give him a password as well, whatever he likes, etc. Now we're going to go back into that FTP directory and add the Dropbox folder, so he can upload whatever he likes to there and quickly give me files. Going to want to give him all of the permissions to that folder. Okay, so now we launch. Oh, first we have to port forward, so go to when I'm connected directly into the modem, so I'm only behind Windows Firewall. This will be different if you're forwarding your modem, but there's a number of ports you have to forward, like port 21 is a main one, as you can see there. We'll get more into those ports later, just a little bit later. So now this is the ones I just showed you, the 3850. You're going to want to go to there, and for passive settings, add the port range to whatever you like. It doesn't really matter, but that's definitely a necessary step. So as you can see here in my firewall port settings, I have 3850 and then down to 3857. So, and you do have to forward all of those individually, and yes, it is annoying. Okay, so now I forgot to do this earlier, but when you're giving your users or whatever folders, as you can see it's there now, you do slash for in the alias thing. You right click it, say edit alias, and then you go to slash and then whatever you want. So like for movies, I do slash movies, and you can see all of your movies there. And if you want to go directly to the movies, then you do FTP : / your IP / movies /, and then that'll bring you directly to it. Okay, so now auto ban, I would enable that so worms or viruses don't try to like break into your FTP trying a bunch of different passwords. I've had that happen more than once. So now we'll do the SSL / TSL security. First, you're going to want to go to generate certificate. I do 284-bit. That seems reasonable, and none of this data has to be correct. It just is for generating the certificate file. Just type some random stuff in here. It doesn't really matter. Save it to somewhere. This may take a second, and then it'll say generated successfully. You're going to want to give it a password. It doesn't really matter if you remember this. I like haven't found a reason to ever have to use it as well. Do not enable the second box, but do enable the third box. At least, well, don't enable the second box if you're planning on anonymous access that's unencrypted, or anybody that is accessing the FTP that is unencrypted. Also, you're going to have to forward this port that we saw there, port 990. I'm not sure if it's TCP or UDP, but when in doubt, forward both of them. That's my theory anyways. So now we just went to the groups, and we've made the entire group have force SSL, the encryption on, so everybody has to go to it. But you can also do it for individual users like I just did. So now let's go to my FTP and check out the encryption. Oh, I have to refresh. Where's the refresh? Okay, there we go. And you'll see you get 530 SSL required. Okay, now this is going to be common. It always happens. So you're going to have to get in, some FTP client or add-on for Firefox like FireFTP, which I just enabled, to be able to have it work properly. Okay, so now I'll show you how to do this via FireFTP. Go to create a user. This doesn't really matter. Category doesn't matter. However, this section has to be the main FTP site. So FTP : / and then your IP. Login is your username and your password for that. And then for under this, I do auth TLS, which is the best. Okay, oh whoops, I forgot I already have one under this username. There. So this is just for the tutorial. Okay, now we're going to press connect, and this will appear up warning you about the certificate isn't recognized. This is expected because we generated our own certificate instead of buying one, which is like $6 a year or something. So you're going to have to add an exception, and keep in mind they can see everything you put in. So you may not want to put your